Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Illinois Students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out all the full schedule at IACAC.org. This presentation is also being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, IACAC.org. And now I would like to turn it over to our presenters.
Are you going to share, Brianna? Okay, well, we're still kind of figuring out the screen share. My name is Carrie Freed. Welcome to our session, Indianapolis and Beyond. There it is. We are just some representatives from some of Central Indiana's top education institutions, and we'll go ahead and just introduce ourselves.
Hello, I'm Kelsey O'Shaughnessy, admission counselor at BUTLER University.
Hello, my name is Hayden Sigelski, and I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at Franklin College.
Hi, my name is Brianna Bigler, and I'm an admission counselor here at MARIAN University.
And like I said earlier, my name is Carrie Ann Freed. I am an admissions counselor from the University of Indianapolis.
And we are all just going to give a pretty brief overview of our institution so that you have a good starting knowledge of who are here to ask questions to. And so I'm going to kick things off with talking just pretty briefly about BUTLER University. You can see on your screen here a couple of glamour shots of the university and some things that our students are involved in on campus. Something that many of us are going to share with you is we all have smaller sized campuses, and so we're all varying of different sizes. You can see on your screen that BUTLER has just under 5,000 undergraduate students. So we're right in that mid-sized range. We have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and our average class size is about 22 students. So certainly at the core of what BUTLER is hoping to provide as an educational opportunity for students is those personalized learning environments, access to professors, unique experiences that you would get in these small classrooms. So we don't have any teaching assistants or graduate assistants. You're going to be working directly with faculty members, all in classroom, in lab, in office hours, who you're emailing on the evenings and weekends with questions. We want that to be a collaborative space for our students and our professors. We have over 65 different majors on our campus, and so a ton of different disciplines, just to name them pretty briefly to see if you connect with any specific college. We have our College of Communication, our College of Education, our College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, our Liberal Arts and Sciences College, Jordan College of the Arts, and our Lacey School of Business. I think it's important to note too that we do have an exploratory studies major for students who may want to just think about a couple of different options before making a decision on a major. As far as student life goes, we have a very active campus with about 97% of our students participating in something outside of the academic classroom. So over 130 different student organizations to choose from. We also are Division I in our athletic programs, and so that's a big part of our social life. We're in the Big East Conference, and we have tons of students attending games and cheering on the BUTLER Bulldogs. You'll see that we work with over 200 different study abroad programs. That's certainly something that's high on a bucket list for many of our students. And about 40% of BUTLER students will spend some time abroad. So you'll see a picture there on your screen of our campus. We are situated in a residential neighborhood. And so there's tons of green space. Everything on campus would be very, very walkable. You'll see the downtown area in the distance of that shot. So we're located about 5 miles north of the heart of downtown Indy. So a couple of the other pictures on your screen, you can see some of our students at our Welcome Week programming a couple years ago, so serving as student mentors to the incoming first-year students. Our cute live mascot named Blue, he's on all of the different social media channels, so go feel free to check him out. He does giveaways and fun stuff, but he lives on campus and comes and greets the students every day. Some of our students working with one of our virtual anatomy tables in one of our classrooms. And then you can also see an example of what one of our dorm rooms looks like. So we do have a 3-year residency requirement for our students to live on campus, and that's just an example of where you may be hanging out. So happy to pass things over to my colleague Hayden from Franklin College, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Right before Hayden starts, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A chat as we go through this. There will be a question and answer at the very end, but don't think you have to hold on to any of your questions for any specific college or university.
All right, well, my name is Hayden Sigelski, and I am a representative from Franklin College. We are actually about 20 miles south of Indianapolis, located in the city of Franklin. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a small town vibe, that's located relatively close to a big city, Franklin might be a great place for you to explore. Our campus is just about 1,000 students, with our average class size just right around 15. Similar to Butler, our faculty student ratio is 1 faculty member per 11 students, and we have a 98% placement rate within 6 months of graduation to be in your first career or in graduate school. And that's not just working at your local Starbucks, that's going to be actually out in the field that you want to pursue. We have students from over 17 states and 10 countries, so we like to really broaden our horizons with different types of students coming from all over the world to bring different perspectives to campus. We are an NCAA Division III school, so we don't have athletic scholarships, but we definitely offer a very holistic experience for a student who wants to play at the collegiate level, but also have that full-time college experience where you're in the classroom doing internships and involved in and out of the classroom. We have about 40% of students who do play Division III sports on campus, and you can find the full extensive list on our website. We have about 45% of students involved in Greek life on campus, and we have just about 70% of our students who live on campus, also similar to Butler. We have a 3-year residential requirement. And then your senior year, you can live off campus in one of the apartments. But most of our students actually stay on campus all 4 years because we do have a lot of diversity in our housing, apartment style, suite style. We do have fraternity houses. We have a modern language house, a Building Our Leaders Through Diversity house. So there's a lot of opportunities to kind of explore your passions and connect them with your residential requirement. Additionally, we have over 50 clubs and organizations, and those range from advocacy organizations to kind of your standard clubs like Passion for Paws, Scrubs Club, to academic honorary societies. As I mentioned, we have Greek life, we have religious life. A lot of our students do participate in service-related organizations because service is very much at the core of Franklin College. As far as kind of some of the pictures and different things on the screen, that main image is Old Main. That is where most of our classes are located. You'll see if you come visit campus, the classrooms are not built to hold very many bodies, so you're definitely going to have that one-on-one attention with your faculty member in the classroom, but also after class, because they truly serve as advocates for our students. They serve as full-time faculty advisors as well. So when you're looking for that perfect internship, they're going to be there from step A to when you graduate. So definitely something to note with our internships is that you are allowed to do up to 16 credit hours worth of internship credit. So on average, our students are completing 2 to 3 before they graduate and have a really robust resume to prepare and show for employers. The last thing I want to mention about Franklin is our immersive term. We have a 4-1-4 calendar, which basically means you have a fall semester, a spring semester, and the month of January is dedicated to this immersive term. Your first year, you take a class on campus, and then your sophomore through senior year, that's when students go do internships full-time, which is great for our athletes. It's kind of a sweet spot to fit it in. And then we also have faculty-led trips that have gone all over Europe, Central America, different places in Africa and Japan as well. We do have some domestic trips, New York City and Disney World, to name a few. So we strongly encourage our students to get out of the classroom and kind of take their passions abroad or domestically, because it obviously looks great on a resume, and it's a really nice time just to leave your comfort zone for a shortened period of time. So as far as next steps for Franklin College, definitely come visit. It's beautiful during the fall, so we would love to have you on campus in the next few weeks. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Brianna.
Hello again. Thanks for the introduction, Hayden. Again, my name is Brianna Bigler. I'm representing Marian University as one of our admission counselors here. And I'm actually a Marian graduate myself. I graduated in 2017. So it's exciting to be able to share a little bit more about Marian with other students that are looking into the Indianapolis area. We are just down the road from Butler University, about 10 minutes from the heart of downtown. So it's exciting to be able to have the big city experience, but our campus is relatively small, just like these other schools on the panel. So you get to know your faculty members really well. We have a 13-to-1 student faculty ratio. And we have a little over 3,500 students here on campus. That's including our undergraduate, our graduate, and we also have a college of osteopathic medicine here at Marian. So it's only the second medical school in the state of Indiana. So I'm very excited to be able to offer that to students pursuing their doctorate. Some of our top 5 majors are listed there. Definitely healthcare majors like nursing, biology, exercise science for those students looking to pursue occupational therapy or physical therapy. Education is definitely a growing major at Marian. We have an awesome 5-year program where you graduate with a bachelor's and a master's degree. So definitely would encourage you to check out our Clips Educators College on our website. Along with management, marketing is also a very popular major within our School of Business. So one thing that we love to offer our students is that kind of hands-on experience. So majority of our majors are going to require you to have an internship, research, clinical, some sort of hands-on experience where you're out in the field being able to explore what opportunities that field can offer you. Being in a city like Indianapolis just really gives you a lot more opportunities and opportunities to be able to get more specific within those internships. For example, our nursing students not only get into hospitals within the city, but into some of the hospitals in the surrounding counties as well. Some of the pictures there you'll see our fountain. That's kind of our heart of campus. A lot of our sidewalks lead into the fountain there. So definitely a beautiful place to visit in the fall. You'll also see the picture of our athletic stadium. So we are a part of the NAIA, which means we are able to give out athletic awards. We had 3 of our teams last fall make it into the national championship game and 1 national champion within our women's volleyball program. So very excited about that. Be happy to share a little bit more later on, but now I'm going to pass it on to Carrie to round us out with UND.
Yay! Thanks, everybody. So yes, like I mentioned before, I'm a representative from University of Indianapolis, and like Brianna, I also graduated from UND. I'm a recent grad and also a current student. So I graduated in 2019, started as an admissions counselor in August of 2019, and then started a master's program at UND in 2020. So I am a diehard UND fan for sure, just like all of these other institutions as well. UND is a small private liberal arts school. We are located just 10 minutes south of downtown Indianapolis, probably 15 to 20 minutes away from Butler and Marian, and a little bit further away from Franklin. Some of our most popular majors, we have over 100, so there's lots of things to choose from, but our most popular ones land in the engineering department, health and sciences with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and nursing, our School of Business, and our School of Education, and of course, many, many more. We do have around 4,000 undergraduate students. We're our Division II athletics as well, with around 25 varsity sports, a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. But some of my favorite statistics about the university, we are 40% first generation college students. So if you're someone who doesn't have anyone in your family or immediate family members who have attended college or university, and you're looking for a little bit more of that support in terms of financial aid, the application process, and then mentorship and professional development throughout your 4 years, UND is a great place to start. Another one of my favorite statistics is that for a small private institution, we have a 25% minority enrollment, 10% of those coming from the Latinx population, and then 16% coming from the Black, African, and African diaspora population. I think like Hayden mentioned, our freshmen are actually not required to live on campus. Some might be based on your admission category, but for the most part, there isn't a freshman on campus requirement. Or throughout the rest of your 4 years. We also do have living learning communities on campus within our School of Engineering, our School of Nursing, one called Emoja Scholars, which is for African American and African diaspora students as well. But as a student really from the university, and this is my cat, Cassis, she won't go away, so I'll just keep talking with her. But as a student from the university, I just want to say that there is no place that does mentorship better than UIndy. From you get here till the moment you leave, you're going to find yourself in communities and spaces in which you are supported, in which people want to hear you and hear about your goals and your aspirations and really want to fine tune you to be the person that you want to be. There's no way that I would be able to do half the things that I do if it wasn't for the professional development, the mentorship, and the community that I found at UIndy. I think I hit on most of the pictures in our slide, but the main picture right there is our main campus, and then the one to the right is our women's golf team. Our women's golf is one of our best sports on campus. We have been national champions for the past 4 years. So I don't golf or anything like that, but that sounds like a huge accomplishment to me. That wraps up my slides. So I guess we're ready for Q&A.
Yeah, so we want to make this as engaging and helpful to the students logged on as possible. So please feel free to use the chat feature that you see to submit a question. We can either answer that question privately in a message, or we can answer that out loud for the other students to be able to engage in here, because I'm sure they're curious about some similar things that you may be as well. So we just kind of want to get things started with maybe asking some of our panelists and having us answer what are some things to do on campus. We've talked a lot about all the different academic options, but what are students doing on the evenings and the weekends? You know, what's a social life like on your campus, or maybe like traditions or typical things that students participate in? If anyone wants to start off and answer that first.
I can start us off. So the city of Franklin is just about 20,000 people. So we have a lot of, as I mentioned, a very small town feel. We have a lot of festivals that happen in our downtown area, which is walking distance to campus. It's probably about 3 to 4 or 5 minutes, depending on what part you're going to. So we have a lot of these festivals. Strawberries on the Square is one, where you get a bunch of strawberry items. We have a farmer's market every weekend. We have an old time theater called the Art Craft Theater that shows movies, and our college students get in for like $3 or something crazy cheap. And then we also have so many coffee shops everywhere, which is they're well packed. College students obviously love them a lot. Then we just have a lot of cute little restaurants and shops throughout our main center area. And the last thing I want to mention is we have a really cool new duck pin bowling place that our students love, and I also love. There's something to the small bowling that makes it a little easier. So lots of fun things to do within walking distance if you want to engage with our community.
I can go next. Oh, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so at UIndy, like I said, we're only away from downtown, and I'm sure my other two colleagues, Kelsey and Brianna, were going to say the same thing. Indianapolis itself has so much interesting and fun things to do, whether that be going around the city to each of our like cultural districts, things like Broad Ripple, Fountain Square. I think you two are closer to Broad Ripple and I'm closer to Fountain Square, but they're pretty much just really cool places where theaters, live music, flea markets, shopping, all those things are located. Students love to access those things. Indianapolis is also a sports city. So we have the Colts, we have the Pacers, we have Indy 11, we have Indy Fuel, we have the Indianapolis Indians. I think I hit almost everybody. So if sports are your thing, there's definitely something to find there. Tons of museums, art museums, history museums, the Children's Museum. So Indianapolis itself, there's tons and tons of fun stuff to do. As far as UIndy, we have a lot of great little traditions that we like to participate in. I'm all about diversity when possible, so we have a lot of diversity events, learning how to dance Latin American dances, or we have one thing called, Circle of the Flag, or Celebration of the Flag. So everyone who's represented from a different country at our school kind of gets to parade around their flag and show their traditional dress. So that's one of the ones.
I can go next. Being a Marian graduate, you know, there are a lot of fun things to do on the weekend in addition to what Indianapolis has to hold. But some of my favorite events, usually once a month, we have a faculty Friday night housed in our Starbucks on campus where a faculty member will lead a discussion on any topic that they choose. Majority of the time, it's not something they teach on. So I know we have a nursing faculty who likes to get up there and do stand-up comedy because she does that on the weekend. So that's always a fun treat. And then typically right after our faculty Friday night, it'll kind of lead right into what we call coffee house. So we'll have a local band or artist kind of be the headliner for the night, but we also typically will open it up to open mic night. So that person that's sitting behind you in your biology class might be up there doing stand-up comedy, might be singing a song, or my freshman year, there was a guy that always went up there in a Buddy the Elf costume playing the piano. So definitely something fun to do. There's always something going on the weekends, whether it's athletics, but it's also really fun to kind of go out and explore the city as well. Kind of the landmarker between Butler and Marian is Newfield's, our art museum, and college students get free membership to that. So always exciting to go and explore Newfield's. If you guys have read some of John Green's books, he talks about some of the different exciting things to do in the 100 acres, which is the outdoor area of Newfield's.
Awesome. Yeah, what many of you have mentioned are great examples too of what Butler students are participating in. I'm really glad that Carrie gave the overview of things to do just in Indianapolis and in the downtown area and surrounding neighborhoods. As far as on our campus, I mentioned that students are involved in a lot of different organizations, and so they're constantly going to be busy with that. And that, you know, Indiana is totally a basketball state, and so cheering on the Butler Bulldogs makes up a lot of our traditions, and that's mostly going to be in the basketball realm as well. So following the team through March Madness every year is really fun. We have a huge celebration during the week of homecoming where many of our connected alums come back to campus for the weekend, all centered around a football game on a Saturday. And so that's been a really fun experience for our students too. I think the other panelists would probably agree that many of our graduates fall in love with the city of Indianapolis. We're all grads of the university, but I don't know that any of us really grew up here. And we all live here now. So I think that speaks highly of the city and how much it attracts students coming from all over the country, but from small towns to other urban cities here in Indianapolis to be able to connect with the city either professionally or socially, or both, and want to stick around after graduation. So I think that's a huge emphasis on that for our students and obviously for the panelists too. So we're gonna take a question that we received about student employment. So this might be the same for a lot of us, but I think it's worth mentioning, you know, can students work on campus? Can you earn a couple extra bucks? And what type of employment opportunities are available? If someone wants to kick that off.
I can go ahead and start us off again, or Bree or Carrie, were you guys about to jump in?
Keep up the lineup.
Okay. So on our campus, we have several different jobs. Some of them are going to be work study, which is something that your free application for federal student aid indicates, the FAFSA. So you can definitely if you qualify for those, apply for those specific work study jobs. Otherwise, we have several roles on campus, whether they're more administrative roles for academic offices. We typically hire anywhere from probably 10 to 15 students in our admissions office each year. Security office hires students. Our dining services, library services. So pretty much every area of campus is typically looking for student help. And then obviously, as I mentioned, we do have our downtown within walking distance. So if you wanted to get a job off campus, you could definitely do that. If you didn't have a car, or if you did, we do have some students that drive closer to Greenwood or down to the Edinburgh Mall, which is about 15 minutes from us. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for employment to make a little extra money near Franklin.
Yeah, so at UIndy, all of our jobs qualify for work study. So if you're someone who qualifies for work study, the jobs that you apply for will most likely also for work study. When you do get an on-campus job, one thing that I love about on-campus jobs is no matter where you are, I think all of us will kind of find that there's administrative roles and this, that, and the other, but there's so much professional development that goes into those jobs, whether that's just learning how to write a good email or setting up some meetings, or, you know, learning how to file paperwork or working in a system. So I really encourage any of you, if for jobs and you really want to find a job that works well within your schedule, that maybe your freshman year can really just ease you into that work school life balance, definitely look for an on-campus position. There are tons of jobs, and like the ones Hayden said, we have similar ones at UIndy, but there are also some jobs that, or one job in particular that I want to do a special plug for. I was the campus ambassador when I was in my 4 years in undergrad, and then I transitioned to be a student coordinator in the Office of Admissions. Being an ambassador is such an awesome role because especially if you really love the university that you go to, you get to talk about your university to future students, really re-engage and bring that new class in and help people really find their perfect fit. And it's a great opportunity to learn your networking skills, kind of beef up your elevator pitch and your public speaking skills as well. So just advocating for that one.
I think a lot of the similar things can be said about employment here at MARIAN, so I won't talk too long, but I think it's important to know that, you know, if you want a job on campus, there's definitely lots of opportunity to get a job in an area you're interested in, whether that's athletics, whether, like Carrie mentioned, being a part of an ambassador program and leading tours and kind of assisting prospective students in the library, you know, so many different areas. So definitely take a look. Most of our universities probably have a specific service or system that you can look in and see all the different jobs available. So definitely feel free to connect, or as you're going through the enrollment process, reach out to your admission counselor. They'd be more than happy to kind of help you specifically find out what the steps are for that. But I also want to mention too, you're not required to have a job on campus. So if you want to take a semester and kind of see what the transition from high school to college is, and kind of see what that time management looks like before adding in a job, that's perfectly acceptable too.
Awesome, great answers. And I would just echo that Butler shares the same sentiments that many of the other panelists have shared. Plenty of job opportunities, unique ways to get them, things that can apply to your career, and not interfere with your studies as well. So working, you know, 2 to 4 hours a week and earning a little extra cash is certainly available. And we have a question that we definitely want to be able to answer during the time we have today. So we're going to answer that next. And it's about our test optional policy. So each university is a little bit different, and especially in the COVID world that we are all going through right now, many universities have recently made changes. So I just want to make sure that each panelist has time to talk about what that means for your individual school, so that our students are aware.
I'll go ahead and kick us off again. So for Franklin College, we have adopted a test optional policy for the 2020-2021 academic year, and then it will be revised and reviewed at that point again. But our policy this year is currently, if you have above a 3.0 unweighted GPA, you are not required to submit test scores. You'll work with your admissions counselor, will review your application and communicate with you from there, but you are not required to submit test scores. If you definitely can, should you want to try to, you know, maybe up your merit scholarship a little bit, sure, go ahead and submit them, but you're not required. If you fall below a 3.0, there are several different tiered levels, and each level does require test scores, but varying supplemental materials. So right now, my recommendation for a student who's applying to Franklin College is to go ahead and apply. It's free, so shameless plug. And then from there, request your transcript, because then from there, your admissions counselor can individually address, okay, this is what I recommend as your supplemental materials, or you don't need them. We're also working with a lot of students who have tests planned in the future. So that's things that we can note and work with you individually on.
I can go next and talk about MARIAN's policy. So for this next school year, MARIAN has moved to a test blind policy, meaning that when you are applying to MARIAN, even if you send us test scores, we are not going to look at those when we're looking at admission. We're also not going to look at those test scores when we're reviewing to see if you're eligible for any other academic scholarships. So pretty much you submit your application to MARIAN, our website. It's always free. Tuesday. After you're applying to Marian, send us your transcript. So when we're reviewing, we're going to take a look at, you know, what's listed on your transcript, your GPA. We do take a look at your weighted GPA. So if that's listed on your transcript, we'll use that. We'll also look to see the courses that you've taken, extracurriculars, jobs, everything kind of encompassed in that holistic view. And based on your GPA, you'll be eligible for any of our 6 academic scholarships, ranging from $8,000 all the way up to potentially receiving a full tuition scholarship.
Awesome. That was going to be my next question. So you already jumped ahead. So that's great. The way that BUTLER's test optional process is working is you have the choice whether you'd like to send test scores or not. And so it is totally up to you to decide, and you can understand that we fully believe that your academic record and your transcript can speak for itself, and that you should not feel the pressure at this point to figure out how to get into a test and send your scores to us, you know, before the deadline. It is free to apply, and knowing that there is such difficulty right now with even just gaining access to a standardized test, we are being very flexible as well. So if you're registered for a later test after the deadline, you have until January 15th to send those new scores to us to see if it would make any changes to any type of scholarship process. And just very briefly, speaking of scholarships, BUTLER scholarship for this next academic year will range from $15,000 to $22,000, and every student will be automatically considered who applies during early action. So keep that November 1st date in line, but very flexible test optional policy this year. If you want to answer that question, that'd be awesome.
Am I back? Okay, it kicked me out for a second. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay, so UIndy is also kind of a lot like Kelsey. UIndy is doing a test suspension this year. So we've suspended the requirement for your SAT or ACT test. I wouldn't worry about sending it in if you have one, unless you're being considered for a physical therapy, occupational therapy, or nursing direct admit. They're still kind of working out the kinks on what that's going to look like. But if you're considering taking one in the near future and that's a career path that you want to go down, I would go ahead and take it and send it in just for that. But in terms of your admission, a test will not help or harm you at this point.
So moving on a little bit, we know that students are curious. You know, COVID has affected every single person. And so we want to address that a little bit, knowing that it's probably on your minds about how each campus is dealing with it. So I'm sure many of us will have similar answers, but if each panelist could just speak to, are you having a residential campus right now? Are students learning virtually, and how, or what maybe guidelines or regulations do you have in place to protect our students? And then maybe a little towards the end is when we'll get into if visitors can come to campus. So save that answer for now, but just talk about the current students.
So Franklin College's policy is pretty simple, I believe. We have a pretty extensive plan that can be accessed on our website called Fortify Franklin. We're currently using the Campus Clear app, like several college campuses, where you log your symptoms. It basically gives you a direction on if you should be in class or be at work. All faculty, staff, and employees of the college are using it. We have all of our classes in person. Luckily, because of our small class sizes, it was a little bit easier to accommodate in the spacing. So there's desks in between, there's partitions, plexiglass. Even in our call center downstairs, we have plexiglass. It's all over campus. And the biggest thing I would say with our kind of model is that our task force has been closely monitoring the situation, and it continues to, and has partnered with the Johnson County, Health and the hospital in the city. So it's been really helpful for us as far as addressing those major concerns within our plan. And then the last thing I'll say is that every student obviously is wearing a mask on campus in class. You cannot have food or drink. So we've done a lot to kind of eliminate some of those questions or concerns. And then additionally, on our website where our plan is located, you can also see the count of cases that we've had since August 3rd. It's updated every Friday. So we're being very transparent with our students and our community. So we obviously know it doesn't just affect us, it's the broader picture. So that's what Franklin's doing.
I'll go next. So very similar to Franklin, UIndy is everyone's required to wear a mask on campus. Unfortunately, though, our class sizes are a little bit bigger. So 30% of our classes are now happening in person. So at least everyone has at least one person class if they chose to do so. You also had the option to do completely virtual courses. And I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but I want to make the distinction between virtual and online. I know that online can be kind of a triggering phrase for a lot of people. So when I say virtual, I mean you're still signed up for a certain time and date to show up to class. You're just not in the physical chair. Instead, you're meeting just like we would on a Zoom format or something like that. If you have a hybrid or an online class, for the hybrid, you might be in class one day a week, and then the next day doing more of a traditional online format, meaning go your own pace, kind of learn at your own pace. And then we do have online courses as well, which usually don't have meeting times, but have regularly scheduled things that you have to keep updated on, like assignments and tests and papers. That was kind of a lot to talk about. I think I'd hit everything though, because Hayden and I are pretty much similar on COVID response in terms of campus, but I think we're doing a really great job. We also have an app that we're doing contact tracing with. So if you are someone that's been in contact with someone who has tested positive for COVID, then you're notified and also set on a 14-day quarantine.
Marian's response, I think we're all going to have pretty similar responses, but Carrie mentioned with UIndy kind of the different options with in-person classes, online classes, and kind of the hybrid or high flex classes. So Marian's definitely on that class or that track as well. It's been up to the discretion of the faculty members, what they feel comfortable with, what they can accommodate within their classroom, and what works best with their major, right? Some majors makes a little bit more sense having an online course compared to a hybrid course. So definitely a lot of different accommodations have been made to make sure that everyone is safe and still having the same learning experience that they'd be used to. A lot of different accommodations have been made within dining on campus, within our dining commons, which is typically buffet style. Everything's kind of a grab and go packaging just to make sure that it's safer for our students, but still have students on campus, still have students living on campus. So while it's different, it's still exciting to have students on campus and see kind of more socially distanced outdoor events and kind of what creative fun things our students are up to this semester.
Awesome. Similar to the other panelists, we are a residential campus this semester, and so all of our students are living on campus. We did entry testing, and then we're continuing to do randomized testing, contact tracing, all of that, as well as mask policy indoors and outdoors for our students. But we are happy that we were able to safely have students return to campus in some kind of capacity if students are all in person or the hybrid model that some of the panelists have mentioned too. So I think we will have time for maybe 2 more questions if we're 4 quick. So I want to let our students know if it's possible to visit right now. So some of our students have been at home for quite a long time, and maybe their spring semester where they do some college visit was disrupted. So if you can just quickly say if your campus is allowing visitors right now, that'd be great.
We at Franklin are still allowing in-person visitors. We're doing all of our professor meetings virtually, so you'll be put in a room for that meeting specifically, but definitely still come to campus. You'll see the residence halls. You will have your temperature taken obviously when you get there, but you'll get the pretty much almost a very similar experience, and I definitely encourage to come even though it's a little different than it normally is.
UIndy is also doing in-person visits, but we also have virtual visits available on our website as well. So if you don't feel like making the trek over here in the conditions that we're all in, then you can definitely make a virtual visit. In terms of the virtual visit, we are not allowing visitors to see our residence halls, however. So those have been shut down to keep our students safe on campus. So we have great videos of what they look like online in real time. They're not like, you know, modeled pixie kind of things. They're actual real videos in real time about how students are using the rooms today.
MARIAN is also offering in-person visits in the morning and in the afternoon, and we also offer Thursday evening visits, so lots of opportunities there. A couple weekend visits. Like UND, our students are not able to see the residence hall due to everything going on, but still able to meet with faculty. They come over to our office, our office building, so you can meet with them while you're on campus. You can also, if you go to our campus visit request form, you can request to possibly meet with the coach as well, and we'll see if they're available for that.
Great. And Butler does have in-person visits right now as well. We also have virtual visits, so depending on your comfort level, if you want to attend a virtual visit, it still is live, so you can sign up to do a live virtual visit, or we offer 3 in-person visits every day during the week, and then tours on the weekend. So we have severely cut down our capacity just for social distancing purposes and to keep everyone safe. Visitors also have to follow our mask regulations, but we are happy to have you on campus if you are comfortable in doing so. I think there's no better way to decide if you want to put a college on your long or your short list than to go visit. So as we get ready to wrap up here, we just have a few more minutes, and I want to give each panelist the time to say again that they, maybe their contact information, or one last piece of advice that they may have to any student who's thinking about applying this year.
My advice would definitely be just to apply early so we can work through the process together. Franklin is very individualized from start to finish, with your admissions counselor to when you walk across the stage 4 years later. So definitely just start early, work with me or whoever your assigned counselor would be. Be transparent and be open, express what your concerns are, what your needs are. All of us have been through this process, and that's why most of us are in this field, because we want to help others. So just reach out and be honest and be open.
I would say the same for UND. So because we're not doing a required test score, I do really encourage you, if you're applying, whether that be through the Common App, which I think we are all on the Common App, right? Yeah, cool. Oh, never mind, Marian's not on the Common App, but the other two cool girls are. So those of us that are on the Common App, or if you're filling out each of our individual applications, definitely if there's an opportunity for you to speak about yourself or talk about yourself, UND doesn't require a personal essay. So I want to get to know you, not because I want to judge you on whether or not you'll be successful, but because I want to make sure I'm putting you in contact with those mentors, those professional development opportunities and things to make sure that UND is really going to be the best fit for you. So definitely let us know who you are. Reach out to us if you have questions, even before you apply. If you just want to reach out to any of our emails, I'm sure we'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an intimidating process, this college search process, and sometimes it's hard to know where to start, especially considering leaving the state and traveling to a new city or area that you haven't been in before. So reach out. I think that's the most important thing. Feel comfortable with reaching out. I mean, our job is to help you guys, like Hayden said. So if you have any questions about campus, about what your experience would be like, about the city, let us know. Marian's going to be a great option for those students that want that small town experience, want to get connected with the city, possibly want to kind of grow within your faith, since we're a Catholic institution. So definitely look into us if those might be some of the important things on your college search checklist.
Awesome. That's such great advice so far. You can see on your screen that all of our contact details are there. So just echoing that we're here to help in any way that we can, if that's a question because you can't get the application to open, or a larger question. So like many others, my advice would be to be authentic, because the process is so stressful for some. Don't write an essay of what you think we want to hear. We would much rather learn more about you. And so have those essays proofread, but certainly be authentic as well. We are in this line of work because we do enjoy getting to know so many students, and we understand that it's difficult in this virtual world, but hopefully it's not forever, and we will get to see you on campus in person someday. So as we wrap things up, we just want to thank you for your time and the questions that you submitted. We are really thrilled to be able to engage with the students from Illinois and help you to learn a little bit more about what we have to offer in Indiana.
Well, thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at IACAC.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other session recordings at IACAC.org. Thank you.